All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Saturday, November 15th, and we have a 5-game NBA slate to dive into in today's video. Like we always do, I'm going to dive into each and every one of these games. I'll break them down. I'll give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, make sure to keep an eye down on the pinned comment of today's video. That's where you'll find all of my final plays, so I'm actually rolling with myself. If that does interest you, it's absolutely free down in the pinned comment. And yesterday was one of those days that's tough, right? We go 1-5 or 1-4, excuse me. And we felt like we saw the board so well, right? I did think Karl-Anthony Towns would do really, really well. I didn't think he'd do so well that he almost single-handedly kills an under. He finished with 39 points, but he had 31 at halftime. He put that game to the nth degree in terms of pace. It was a good look to like him, but hey, I can't even take credit for saying that in yesterday's video because we didn't roll with it ourselves, right? Wendell Carter Jr. had 8 in the first 5 minutes of the game, and then he falls short. So tough looks there. DeAndre Ayton being our only real good look yesterday, 22.5 points plus rebounds. Ayton finished with, I believe, a double-double, and he finished at, 20 and 16. So he absolutely ate yesterday. Spurs money line and Jimmy Butler. Guys, we have our first 2 additions in the DNB graveyard. The Spurs, who've burned us multiple times now, as has Jimmy Butler, his unders specifically. So if you guys don't know what the DNB graveyard is, we're going to let these guys cool off for a little bit, right? 6 feet under. I know a lot of people will be like, what's the point of that? That doesn't exist and all that. You know what? Hey, it's fun. We're going to roll with it. Those 2 are in the DNB graveyard. In terms of the ride of the day, unfortunately, this one does not come through. Got to drop the womp womp on my man Jared. Actually, the graphic has the green outline, which we usually put for winners. So you know what? Maybe that's a good sign. Maybe we got good vibes on the way. But Stephon Castle, over 7.5 assists, does not come through. He finishes with 9 rebounds and 6 assists, so he did have a decent enough game, but the assist just came up a couple shy there. If you guys don't know what the ride of the day is, it's simple. You use that hashtag ride of the day down in the comments. I jump on board with one person's play each and every day. Give you a shout out in the next video, win or loss. If you win, we continue to roll and ride with your plays, and you get to go on a little bit of a streak, like the official LA Adams, like IAW, like straight fire picks, right? If you lose, unfortunately, yeah, you're getting the shout out, but we're talking about a loss, and you got to face the womp womp on the soundboard. It was a good attempt. I liked the look, Jared. Just came up a little bit shy. But guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's jump into matchup number 1 here. We have the Cavs hosting the Grizz. So right now, Cavs 11-point favorites, a big number. 238.5. I've seen this jump up to 239.5 as well, so we'll make sure to keep an eye on that. This Cleveland team has beat the Grizzlies in 5 straight meetings. Now 2-2-1 is the against the number record. Cleveland on the year 8-5, going up against Memphis, who is 4-9. They're 3-10 against the number, and just 1-4 on the road out of their 5 games. I'm going to lean Cleveland in this spot. I do think that they are the far superior team, and I mean far superior. No Darius Garland in this one, which will impact one of the player props that we're actually liking. So I do think that, Cleveland gets the job done, but I think it's by way of Donovan Mitchell. So one of my favorite spots in this one is Donovan Mitchell over points plus assists. You can get it right now for over 33.5. I think that is over on, MGM minus 105. 33.5. I like this spot. If we dive into taking a peek at Mitchell, right? So this is him when he plays 30 plus minutes on the year. That's what we're hoping for today. Hopefully the blowout does not kind of kill us here if they do pull away with it. But you can see 30 plus minutes he's hit in 4 of 5 games, 39.8 points plus assists. What if we just say without Darius Garland, right? Okay, well, very, very similar, right? 36.4 he's been averaging last year without Garland. A little bit worse, but ultimately, we're focused on Donovan Mitchell, who's been going off this season. You could see Memphis allowing the 2nd most points to the shooting guard position and the 5th most assists, or the 4th most assists to the shooting guard position. He should have the usage, and I've liked what he's done at home so far this year as well. So I like the idea of Donovan Mitchell overall. We could see just on the season, he's averaging 36, 35.91. So good enough spot for him. Days rest. He's hit this and he's averaged, 30.8. But again, we're kind of looking at without Garland there, and I think that gives him a little bit more jurisdiction in the game of ball handling for assists. So especially without Garland in terms of potential assists, right? Averaging 10, 9, 16 that last game potential assist with no Garland on the floor. So could be a good enough spot for him to get some assists too. His assist line right now is actually 5.5. I do not mind that whatsoever, but I think he's going to have the usage. I like him in the pick, the points and assists, specifically the pick and roll as well as transition. And we know that this Memphis team is going to like to run in transition. Well, joke maybe on them because, when they do run in transition, we got to refresh this one. When they do run in transition, 60% of their opponents, Donovan Mitchell will get the ball and go and most likely score. So yeah, that's kind of the way that I'm looking at this game. I think Cleveland runs it, but I don't think that they do it without, Donovan Mitchell absolutely going off. In terms of a total, it's tough for me to take the under. I think that Memphis may struggle to score, but I'll still lean towards the over, but maybe a Cavs team total over, if anything. All right, Hornets taking on the Thunder. This is the second of the two massive spreads on today's slate. Right now, Hornets getting 15.5 points at home. Total at 226.5. This is obviously a tough one because this Thunder team is rolling, right? They beat the Lakers 121-92. They beat the Golden State Warriors 126-102. Earlier in the year, they beat Sacramento by 31 points. They are covering this number. It's like out of every team in the league, you'd be like, 15.5. You can't feel comfortable doing that, right? But the Thunder just seem to cover. I mean, this year, they're only 8-5 against the number, so I will say that. But again, they have some of these big wins there. Now, Charlotte is getting a little bit more healthy. We talked about that last time. We broke them down, but looks like LaMelo Ball is questionable in this one and not in the expected lineup. So yes, he looked like he was good to go and all things great, and then just heading back downhill. If LaMelo doesn't play, I almost feel like saying I have no problem laying 15.5 points, which is absolutely crazy to say. I don't like a 15.5 point spread in the first place, never mind in the first, 20 games of the season, but it's hard for me to get to the Hornets, so I like slightly lean Thunder. Maybe a Thunder first half, first quarter, let them get off to the races, right? That way we at least have a number that seems doable. The one thing that I will say here is, given the fact that we only have a total of 226.5, makes it a little difficult for me to think that this Thunder team will absolutely pull away. But overall, Charlotte's offense has been decent enough, and the Thunder's offense is obviously better, but the Thunder offensive efficiency is some of the best in the league. I think it is the best in the league, and Charlotte's defensive efficiency isn't all that great. So you have two decent enough offenses, one good defense to stop the offense, and then one that should just score at will. And that leads me to, again, siding with the Thunder. But that total has me a little bit second-guessing myself, because how hard must it be with a low total like that to win by 16 points? Well, maybe the Thunder are about to show us. In terms of a total, speaking of that, I do think that this could be like two ships passing in the night. Thunder score a bunch, whereas Charlotte kind of struggles. So I think we pick our poison there and look at the Charlotte Hornets team total under. Right now, for right around -1, so it's moved a lot. Under 107.5, -149. That's a lot of juice for a team just to go out there and score, 108, which the Charlotte team has pretty much done in every single game this year. I think that they've landed at 107 and 105 in 2 games. Every other game they've gone over. It's still something that I might consider, but that is a very, very low line. In terms of player props here, I do think this is a tough one to kind of gauge because this could very well be a blowout, you know what I mean? But in terms of the pick and roll and the isolation, everything that screams, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, it looks like we could have a decent enough spot for him on our hands, and I don't really mind that, right? I mean, if LaMelo plays and all that, we may even have a more competitive game, but it doesn't change the fact that Shai should be able to get to his spots and score. The problem is he needs 31 points. Like, such a high line, and obviously if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be him, but this line just seems a little high, but I will lean Shai over in points. Real quick, guys, before we do move on to the rest of the games, I want to talk to you about Sleeper. They got a Jokic, the Joker, 0.5 point sign for new users today, but that's not even the best thing they're offering. Literally a free $20 when signing up. A free $20 entry just for signing up. Yeah, no deposit needed. You don't even need to put in a deposit to get that free $20. So you can see if you like the Sleeper app, which I'm confident you will. When you do deposit, you will get a deposit match as well. So they are absolutely hooking you up. Go ahead and check it out, guys. They have a ton of lines and alternate lines and promos going on each and every day. Some of the best offerings out there in the DFS app space. So check it out, guys. Again, that is Sleeper. That link will be down below in the description as well as the pinned comment. You can also also use code GuyBoston when signing up. Let's jump back into these games. Pacers taking on the Raptors. Pacers getting 7.5 points here at home. That total at 233.5. This Raptors team does have a lot of guys that can score, which I do think will be a handful for this Pacers squad because their defense realistically is some of the worst in the league, right? I mean, they're fourth in terms of points per game allowed. Their last 3 games dead last in terms of defensive efficiency, whereas this Raptors team so far is a top 10 offense, both from a points per game perspective and an offensive efficiency perspective. So as long as they stay healthy, that lineup of Quickly, Barrett, Ingram, Barnes, and Jakob Poeltl is pretty damn good, right? And we know that this is a Pacers team that clearly struggles with staying healthy, and it's kind of kicked off by the Halliburton, but, you know, they've had so many injuries. Mathurin, TJ McConnell was banged up, like just a ton of these injuries that have definitely impacted their season so far, leading them to a 1-11 start. Now, you know, in terms of against the number, they're a little bit better, 5-7, and yeah, a big-ish number like 7.5 is something worth considering. But to me, this Raptors team's actually played better outside of the house, 5-3 straight up here in terms of being on the road, and they've won 6 of their last 7 games. They covered against the Cavs, and it was a reverse spread of this. They were 7.5-point dogs. They won the game by 13 and covered the reverse 7.5, right? They also played Brooklyn and had 9.5-point spread. It was close, but covered by 10. I think this Raptors team can get the job done. I probably end up pivoting to player props in this game, if anything, just because I think we have a decent pace game here, but I will lean Raptors minus the 7.5 points. That total at 233.5. I mean, this Raptors defense is legit. I do think that they will be good enough, but they still like to push the tempo, whether their defense is good or not. You know what I mean? So I'm going to lean slightly to the over 233. Now, in terms of where I'd go player prop wise, I like the idea of Brandon Ingram here. You could see last time he played this Pacers team was last year. Now, that was when he was with New Orleans, and he had 26 points. This season, him scoring 20 points has happened in 8 of 12 games. On the road, it's happened in 5 of 8. So I like this spot for him overall. I do believe that this is an Indiana team that can let him score from pretty much anywhere, but you can even see via our dashboard. You know where Brandon Ingram likes to shoot from, right? 31.4%, which is a high percent of mid-range jumper attempts. And check this out. Indiana allowing 45% of their opponents from the mid-range. No bueno, right? Or bueno if you're looking at Brandon Ingram's perspective. And then in the paint, outside of the restricted area, 48%. So I think Brandon Ingram can eat today. He also will come off the pick and roll, which you can see here, dead last in effective field goal percentage and score percentage to their opponents. By the way, guys, the tools that I'm showing here, this is the Guy Boston NBA dashboard, GuyBostonSports.com. NBA dashboard there. You could sign up for the All Sports dashboard and get this for $4.99 for your first month. It's usually $10.99. So click that in the sign up. All Sports dashboard. EV5. EV5 is the code. And then this is Outlier. I pair these tools up every single day and absolutely love what we could do with these side by side. Link down in the description for this as well. 7-day free trial. But yes, I like Brandon Ingram. 20 points I do think is very, very doable. One spot that I also might consider, we talked about, you know, this Pacers team and how the Raptors can score from different levels. They also really do struggle at preventing points in the restricted area, which that kind of screams Scotty Barnes to me, getting down there and being able to score. So maybe this is a nice little SGP option for, you know, Brandon Ingram 15 plus, Barnes 15 plus. You can even say, hey, screw Barnes, let's look at RJ Barrett, right? Pair some of these guys that like to score in the restricted area there. I think it's going to be, I would say RJ Barrett and Scotty Barnes are kind of a toss-up for me there, but I do like both of those guys. So if you want to take one and knock both Ingram and, you know, next player, whether it's Barnes or Barrett, put them both to 15 plus in some sort of an SGP, and you feel like that's a little bit more doable, I don't hate that whatsoever. In fact, I'll have to run the math on this, but it may be okay to do like Ingram and Barnes SGP 15 plus, and then Ingram and Barrett. If they all go for 15 plus, then you cash both of those. We'll see. We'll run some numbers after this. Keep an eye on the final plays. If you're seeing this right now and you have not liked the video, go ahead and like the video. Hit that subscribe button as well, and make sure to turn on the notification, guys. We are going live. Personally here, me, I should say, kind of randomly throughout the week, right? We're aiming for like, you know, 1 to 3, so more often than not 2 live streams per week where we interact with you guys and all of that, but we don't have a set schedule yet. So make sure that notification bell is on if you do want to get in the chat. We read all the chat, talk to you guys. We're building an awesome community. So you want to know when we're going live, hit that notification bell. And also, if you're watching this on mobile, hype this video. It's a new feature by YouTube. Definitely helps us out. And yeah, you guys are just the best and so supportive. So let's get back to the games. All right, T-Wolves taking on the Nuggets. Should be obviously a good game. These two teams obviously have somewhat of like a rivalry here. In the last 7 games, Minnesota has won 6 of these, but let us not forget, this year they've already played, and the Nuggets kind of got that off their back, right? They win 127 to 114. That was in Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Now, Minnesota here on a back-to-back, they did smoke Sacramento last night, 124 to 110. Now, I would normally sit here and be like, well, Minnesota obviously has more of like the bounce in their game and that type of thing to take down Denver. But Minnesota's playing with a very, very slow pace so far this year, and they're not necessarily choosing to run that pace like we've seen them so far. Now, do they know that that's how they can get to Denver? Perhaps, but Denver's transition defense has been very good this year, 50% to their opponents in transition, and that's a good number, by the way. I think I like Denver. I mean, with a rest advantage over their opponent, and man, do they have a rest advantage. They've had 2 days off, and Minnesota's on a back-to-back. With a rest advantage over their opponent, 60% cover rate this year, whereas Minnesota, on a back-to-back, 0% cover rate. Now, I believe they've played, 1 or 2? I think they have 1 back-to-back, and it was honestly just a couple days ago, right? They played Sacramento, then Utah, and they didn't cover, but they did win the game. They lost on the hook when it comes to covering, so just wanted to at least be transparent, right? It's not like they got smoked. They still won by 7. The spread was 7.5, so they could easily have a 100% cover rate on back-to-backs with 1 more point. But I like the Nuggets here. They are on the road. They both their losses, they're 9-2 this year, but both their losses have come on the road, so I think that is worth noting. But to me, with that rest advantage, I don't see any reason why they can't control this game. If someone's on the Minnesota Timberwolves today, I'm not trying to argue you off it. I do like the Nuggets. I think that they should dominate in the pick and roll. So look for, Jamal Murray, maybe points plus assists, stuff like that. I think they should dominate in that facet. But I do think this Minnesota team is obviously, when they're healthy, really, really good. And the more and more, I know it sounds corny to say, but the more and more you see Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle play alongside one another, the better they look. Like, they've somehow figured out a way to be like, hey, I'll get 30, you get just about 30, and then, hey, we'll throw in, like yesterday, who was it, DiVincenzo, right? You go for 20. How about that? Does that sound good? And it's like, wait a second, you just picked 3 players, and 70 points came by way of them? Pretty damn impressive, guys. So, yeah, that might even be more than, that's almost 80 points when you think about it. So, overall, yeah, I think this Minnesota team's good, but I think the Nuggets with that rest advantage would be the side I look at. From a total perspective, I kind of am leaning towards an under, just barely, though. I have this one pegged at 232. So, yeah, obviously a very, very, very close number to that 234.5. But player prop-wise, I already kind of mentioned it. Jamal Murray, I think, could have a very good game. Whether you look at him for points or assists or points plus assists, him coming off the pick and roll, I think, should be a very profitable spot for him tonight. Bucks taking on the Lakers. Lakers last night winning over New Orleans. They did cover too, a big number, 118 to 104. Milwaukee coming off of a big game against Charlotte, 147 to 130 something. Giannis didn't even have like the craziest of night. I mean, he had, I think, a million. Actually, I should look that up. I think he had like a million assists. Giannis had 18 assists last night, but only 25 points. And yes, only 25 points, I think it's fair to say about someone like Giannis, right? And only 7 rebounds. But they still got the job done. No problem there, right? In terms of where we go in this one, we'll keep an eye on the injury report. I feel like these two teams are spitting, just examples of, Luka could be ruled out late, Giannis could be ruled out late, a bunch of these guys. I don't necessarily think that this Lakers team is going to play like they played last night. Last night, we loved the interior for them. That's why we backed DeAndre Ayton, and he almost cashed that in the first half. I think that they have a little bit more trouble here against this Milwaukee squad, but realistically, I think that they struggle when playing teams that cover the paint really, really well, right? Which is true, but I should say this. The Lakers perform better when they play against teams that don't have a perimeter presence. Milwaukee has a perimeter presence. Whether or not the Lakers make their shots or not, I mean, they're only shooting like 34% from above the break, but this Milwaukee team locks up the outside. So I don't think that they have that option. If they take it down low, yeah, this Milwaukee team can also kind of clog them there. So I think that defense plays a big role in this one, and the isolation comes back to bite the Lakers when it comes to defense. Milwaukee should be able to isolate. You have Giannis, who obviously didn't have the craziest of scoring nights last night. He did play 40 plus minutes though, so we'll probably want to keep an eye on that. Their game went to overtime, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, clearly I'm a little bit on the fence here because I'm referencing multiple things for both sides. At the end of the day, I think that the Lakers will be forced to shoot the ball inside, which isn't something that they're against, but I don't think they'll have the success like they did yesterday or in some other spots. I think the Milwaukee Bucks will be a little bit more, I guess more of a stone wall down there. So I'm going to lean Bucks in this spot, but realistically, I think my favorite look, and I hate to say it because some of these unders have not worked for us, but I don't mind the idea of an under or a Lakers under. Both these squads are on a back-to-back. Tired legs. Milwaukee probably doesn't want to run, and if I think they're an 11th pace team in the league, right? And if I think that they're going to control the game and play defense down low, if their pace isn't what's taking this thing up over 230, then I don't know whose pace is, because the Lakers are a bottom 10 team in terms of pace. So give me the Bucks as well as the under. And then in terms of player props, yeah, I think that, like I mentioned, Giannis, I think, could have a really good time down low. Realistically, anyone from the perimeter too. This Lakers defense isn't all that great. So if the Bucks can get some catch and shoot opportunities, maybe Giannis assists, and you look at someone like AJ Green over in points, which he looked really bad to start the game, and then poof, finished with 13 last night because all of a sudden he starts hitting his shots and maybe things get a little flow to him, right? So give me the Giannis looks, whether it's points and assists or just assists, and some catch and shoot guys as well, because this is a Lakers team that struggles against catch and shoot, 21st in terms of effective field goal percentage against. But guys, it's going to wrap it up for today's show. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button down below. I know the Guppies will be like 5 games. It took you 22 minutes. Yeah, we like to talk. We go off sometimes. Really do appreciate everyone that tuned in. Like I said, like, subscribe, turn the notifications on, hit that hype button. Appreciate everyone. And by the way, coming out at 1 p.m. today, our Week 11 NFL picks video. Guys, we have had 8 winning weeks out of 10 in the NFL Sunday slate videos. I think we've had 7 out of 10 winning weeks overall in the NFL, but the Sunday slate has been where we've been crushing it. I've been like wanting to share that long-term review with you guys, but I didn't want to jinx it, and I said screw it. We're 10 weeks in. It's a clean number. Let's share it in week 11. Hopefully we're not jinxing ourselves. Catch you guys in the next one, right? Peace out.